Some people are born with charm, others are born with consequences. My brother only ever knew one of those. If you ever grew up as the younger sibling of a golden child, you already know how this story starts. My name's Victor. I'm 30, a physician based in Sacramento, and I guess you could say I've always been the quiet one in my family, the dependable one, the overachiever. Not because I wanted praise, but because, honestly, it was the only way I felt seen. My older brother Logan was the star. Not the kind who aced tests or built anything impressive, but the kind people just liked. Teachers, neighbors, girls, relatives, you name it. He had this easy confidence that made people hand him things. And for some reason, my parents treated that like a superpower. Growing up, it didn't matter what Logan did. He could do no wrong. I still remember when he got caught shoplifting in 8th grade. He and his friends took cologne and candy from a Walgreens. My parents chalked it up to a phase and told him not to hang out with those boys anymore. He didn't get grounded. He didn't even lose his PlayStation. When I spilled juice on a rug in the same year, I wasn't allowed to watch TV for a week. That's the kind of house I grew up in. And for a while, I didn't question it. I thought maybe Logan was just better, cooler, meant for more. Until I started paying attention. Logan got sent to a prestigious prep school in the city. My parents bragged about it at every holiday dinner. But they never talked about how the school had a reputation for inflated tuition and mediocre academics. It was all marketing, appearances. Their son, the private school kid. Meanwhile, I went to public school. Got a part-time job at 16, saved every dollar. And slowly, I realized something that changed everything. Logan wasn't special. He was just constantly praised for average things. That realization lit a fire in me. I buried myself in books. I studied at lunch, at night, even on weekends. I started collecting small wins, top of my class in bio, regional math awards, a full ride to UC Davis, and eventually med school. Logan, he graduated with a business degree from a state college and went into sales. He was doing fine, not failing, not flying, making good money selling real estate software. Nothing wrong with that, but somehow my parents still saw him as the successful one. Every time I came home for dinner, it was the same story. Logan closed a big deal this week. Logan's company might fly him to Miami. Did you hear about Logan's new car? I once mentioned how I'd assisted in a heart procedure, and my mom barely reacted. Logan talked about leasing a BMW, and she started Googling colors for him. It hurt, I won't lie, but I learned to swallow it, to stay quiet. Until last year, when I bought myself something I'd worked over a decade for, a $50,000 Rolex Submariner. It was a milestone gift to myself after finally paying off my student loans, finishing my first year as a full-time attending physician, and building a small emergency fund. It wasn't about showing off. It was about finally feeling like I had made it on my own. It was clean, silver, subtle, the kind of thing only people who know watches would even notice. I wore it only on weekends. I kept the box locked in a drawer. And one weekend, I brought it with me to my parents' house. It was a normal Sunday dinner. I was visiting from the city, and Logan happened to be there too. We hadn't seen each other in a couple months. He gave me the usual nod. Nothing warm, nothing weird. Just Logan being Logan. I remember him glancing at my wrist once, but he didn't say anything. The next morning, I realized the watch was gone. I tore my bag apart. I searched the guest room, my car, the bathroom, even the laundry hamper. Nothing. No box. No watch. At first, I thought maybe I left it at home. Maybe I forgot to pack it. Maybe I put it somewhere stupid. But when I got home later that day, I turned my apartment inside out. It wasn't there. And something in my gut turned cold because there were only 2 people who could have gone into the guest room during dinner. My mom or Logan. And I already knew it wasn't my mom. I didn't confront him right away. I tried to be logical. Maybe I misplaced it. Maybe it was lost in a pocket. Maybe it fell behind something at their house. But 2 weeks later, Logan posted a story on Instagram. It was a casual selfie in his car, wearing sunglasses, smiling. And on his wrist was a Rolex Submariner. Same color, same band. Same size. My chest went tight. I zoomed in, looked for something, anything to tell me I was wrong. But I recognized a tiny scratch near the clasp, a nick I'd gotten when I knocked it against my apartment door a few months back. It was mine. Still, I didn't say anything. Instead, I screenshotted the post. saved it, and waited. I wanted to hear what lie he'd come up with on his own. A few days later, we were both at my parents' again for dinner. Logan strolled in late, wearing the watch like it was nothing. I tried to keep my cool. "Nice watch," I said. "Thanks," he smirked. "Got it a few weeks ago." Treating myself. "Rolex, right?" "Yeah." "Submariner." I nodded. "Pretty rare piece. Where'd you get it?" "Friends shop in LA. Good deal." He didn't even blink. That night, I pulled my parents aside. Told them my watch had gone missing. Told them I saw Logan wearing one identical to mine. I didn't accuse. I just asked them to help me figure it out. They brushed it off. "I'm sure it's a misunderstanding." "Logan would never steal from you. Are you sure you didn't just misplace it?" And just like that, the conversation was over. They made it clear whose side they were on. I drove home that night in silence, gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles ached. How could they not even consider it? Not even ask him? It wasn't just about the watch anymore. It was about everything. Every year, every moment, every time they made me feel like second place to someone who never earned it. I started pulling away after that. Stopped texting the family group chat. Skipped a few dinners. Spent more time at work. More time with Samantha, my closest friend from med school who always knew when I was spiraling before I said a word. She kept telling me to confront Logan again, but I didn't want to scream. I wanted truth. And I didn't think I'd get it until Grandpa Edward, my dad's dad, called me out of nowhere. "You busy this week?" he asked. "Not really." "Why?" "I've got something I think you need to hear." My grandpa, Edward Smith, isn't the kind of guy who calls for no reason. He's from that generation that still writes checks and mails birthday cards with $10 bills inside. He talks slow, watches baseball, and has a way of noticing everything while pretending like he doesn't care. So when he said, "I've got something you need to hear," I didn't ask questions. I just showed up. We met at this old cafe he's been going to for years. He was already sitting at the corner booth with a black coffee and 2 muffins, one of them for me. He nodded as I slid into the seat across from him. "You still like blueberry?" "Yeah," I said, suddenly tense. "You said something happened?" He leaned back, folded his hands, and said, "I saw Logan take the watch." Just like that. No buildup, no apology, no theory. Just the truth I'd been choking on for weeks, handed to me like a coffee refill. I stared at him. "What?" "The night you came for dinner. Everyone was outside on the patio. Logan said he was going in to get another beer. I went to use the bathroom, and I saw him come out of the guest room. He had a little box in his hand, slid it in his pocket, real casual-like. And you didn't say anything?" He looked down, quiet. "I should have, but I didn't want to believe it." "You saw him take it." Clear as day. My stomach dropped. All the gaslighting, the fake stories, the smug lie about buying it in LA. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I was just right, and nobody wanted to deal with it. "You told Dad?" I asked. "I will," he said. "Tonight, and you should come too." I hesitated. I didn't want drama. I didn't want to be the one yelling at the dinner table while Logan played victim. But Grandpa shook his head. "You let this go, Victor, and they'll never stop treating you like you're second place." So I said okay. That night, my parents had us all over for dinner. Typical stuff. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, wine glasses out. Martha, my mom, smiled the second Logan walked in, like he hadn't been dodging reality for weeks. I noticed he wasn't wearing the Rolex anymore. He knew. We made it halfway through dinner before Grandpa cleared his throat and said, calmly, "I need to say something, and I need everyone to listen." The table went quiet. "Victor's watch didn't go missing," he said. "It was stolen. I saw Logan take it." My mom's face drained. My dad froze, fork in hand. Logan's eyes darted between us like he couldn't decide whether to laugh or lie. "What are you talking about?" he said, already defensive. "You know exactly what I'm talking about." Grandpa replied, "That's insane. I saw it. You must have been confused. I know what I saw, and you know what you did." There was a long silence. Logan scoffed, shook his head, then tried turning it back on me. "Are you really going to let Grandpa accuse me over a watch?" "It's not about the watch," I said quietly. "It's about what it means. It's just a thing, Victor. It was my thing. You took it and lied." Then my dad finally spoke. "Logan," he said slowly, "did you take it?" Another pause, and then Logan, arms crossed, voice low, muttered, "Yeah, I did." My mom gasped, Like the idea of her perfect son doing something wrong was too much for her to process. My dad looked like he'd just swallowed a handful of nails. Grandpa didn't even flinch. "Why?" my mom asked, voice trembling. "Why would you?" Logan shrugged, but his face cracked a little. "I don't know. Jealous, maybe." "Jealous?" I repeated. He nodded, eyes darting toward me and then away. "You were always the smart one, the one with the plan, the one who kept climbing. Meanwhile, I'm stuck explaining software updates to clients who can't even use a printer. You show up with a Rolex, and I don't know. I wanted to feel like the one who had something, too." It wasn't dramatic. He didn't cry. He didn't beg. He just looked tired, like he'd been carrying the guilt so long that admitting it felt like peeling off a soaked shirt. I didn't say anything. I was too numb. After dinner, I left without dessert. Samantha called me while I was driving home. "How'd it go?" He admitted it. "Are you okay?" "I don't know." The truth was, I expected anger. I expected yelling. But the hardest part wasn't what Logan said. It was realizing how easy it was for my parents to ignore it until someone else spelled it out for them. All those years of Logan being the favorite, the winner, the one they bragged about, and not once had they stopped to ask why I always had to work twice as hard for half the recognition. That night, I got a text from my dad. It said, "I'm sorry we didn't listen sooner." And from my mom, "We were blind, and we're going to make this right." It wasn't magic. It didn't erase the years. But it was a start. The next day, Logan called me. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't make excuses. He just said, "I can pay you back, monthly, if I have to." I told him I wasn't worried about the money. I just wanted honesty. "I thought I hated you," I said. "But maybe I just hated that you never had to earn anything." He was quiet. "I think I hated that about myself, too," he finally said. "I don't know where we go from here. We're not suddenly best friends. We're not taking family trips together or hugging it out every Sunday. But we're talking, and that's more than we had before." After Logan admitted the truth, you'd think everything would click into place. It didn't, not right away. The next few days were quiet. My parents didn't reach out much, which was weird. Logan didn't text again either, even though he said he wanted to start paying me back. It felt like everyone was processing or pretending nothing happened, except Grandpa Edward. He called me the next morning and said, "They're shaken." They needed to be. We met again at the same cafe. He brought muffins again, like clockwork. "I didn't want to embarrass him," he said, stirring his coffee. "That's why I didn't speak up sooner." "You didn't embarrass him," I replied. "He did that on his own." "True," he nodded. "But I should have told your parents years ago about how they treat you." That's when he looked me dead in the eye and said something I didn't know I needed to hear. "You've always been the one holding this family together, and they've been blind to it." I didn't cry, but I felt something crack open, something I didn't even know I'd buried. It's weird how much power one sentence can carry when you've spent your whole life waiting for someone to say it. After that, Grandpa said he wanted to talk to my parents again. This time not about Logan or the watch, but about me. About how they'd treated me. About how they needed to finally face what they'd been ignoring for decades. I told him it wasn't necessary. He said it wasn't for me. It's for them. Before they lose you for good. That weekend, I showed up at their house for what felt like a family intervention. Only I wasn't the one being confronted. I didn't even say much. Grandpa did most of the talking. He laid everything out. The favoritism, the blind spots, the way they always praised Logan's smallest efforts and treated my biggest accomplishments like side notes. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't blame. He just stated facts. "Gerald," he said to my dad, "you've always measured your sons by how much noise they made, but sometimes the quiet one's the one doing the real work. Martha," he said to my mom, "you love them both, but you protected Logan even when he didn't deserve it, and you let Victor carry the weight." I sat in the armchair by the wall while they listened. My dad stared at the carpet. My mom wiped her eyes with a tissue, shaking her head. "We didn't know," she said. "That's the problem," Grandpa replied. "You never wanted to." And then he stood up, grabbed his coat, and said, "Fix it before it's too late." And he left. The silence that followed was long and awkward. Eventually, my mom broke it. "Victor," she said softly. "I'm sorry." I nodded, but I didn't say anything. I needed to hear more. My dad finally looked up. "We were proud of you. Always have been. We just never really said it." "No, you didn't," I said. "You said it about Logan all the time. He needed more attention." "And I didn't? You were fine. You always handled things." That line, "you always handled things," hit me harder than I expected. Because it wasn't praise. It was just a way of saying, we expected you to survive without help. And I had. But it still hurt. We didn't argue. We didn't yell. But we talked. More honestly than we had in years. They asked questions. They let me answer without cutting me off. They apologized again. They told me they were proud, not just of what I did, but of who I'd become. It wasn't a perfect conversation, but it was a start. And for once, it wasn't about Logan. Later that night, Logan called again. "Mom said you guys had a talk." "Yeah," I said. "It was overdue." "She's not mad at me?" "No," I said. "But that's not the point." He was quiet for a moment. "I really messed things up, huh?" "You did. I don't know how to fix it." Start by owning it. Like actually owning it. Not just admitting it once and hoping everyone moves on. To his credit, he did try. Over the next few weeks, he made a few changes. He sold a few personal items to start paying me back. Not that I pushed him, but he insisted. He even emailed me the receipt from the sale, as if to prove it wasn't talk. He also told our parents the truth on his own, without prompting. "You guys gave me a free pass for too long?" He told them at brunch one Sunday. And I took advantage of it. It was the most adult thing I'd ever seen him do. Samantha and I talked about it a few days later over dinner. "Do you forgive him?" she asked. "I don't know if I fully do, but I'm not angry anymore. That's something." Yeah, it's more than we had. What surprised me most was how different things started to feel. My mom began calling just to check on me. Not Logan. My dad asked if I wanted to go with him to a Kings game, something we hadn't done together in years. And Logan? He started texting me photos of random things. A car he liked, a dish he cooked, a dumb meme, like he was trying to be brothers again. And I let him. Not because he earned it yet, but because I was finally in a place where I didn't feel invisible. It's been 8 months since the watch incident. Sometimes it feels like it just happened. Other times, it feels like it happened a lifetime ago. The watch is back in my apartment now, in the drawer where it always belonged. Logan handed it over himself, no drama, just placed it down and said, "I'm sorry." Again. He didn't ask for anything in return. Not forgiveness, not attention. And maybe that's why it finally felt real. There's something strange about healing with someone you spent most of your life resenting. It's not like flipping a switch. It's more like slowly lowering a weight you didn't realize you were carrying. Logan and I don't talk every day, but when we do, it's easy, lighter, sometimes even funny. We've started hanging out again, not in some forced, let's make this work kind of way, but in those small, normal moments brothers are supposed to have. We watched a playoff game together last month. He came over with takeout and called it bro therapy. He doesn't wear the Rolex anymore. Not because I told him not to, but because he understands now that it meant more to me than just being expensive. It was my proof. My trophy. A symbol of years he never had to fight for. My parents are trying too. My mom has started calling me first, not after Logan updates her, just because she wants to talk. She sent care packages to my apartment a few times. Cookies. Socks. Random stuff I didn't know I needed until I opened the box. My dad's a little slower about things, but he's trying in his own way. We went to a Sacramento Kings game like he promised. We didn't talk about feelings, but he high-fived me after a buzzer beater and said, "This is good. We should do this more." I'll take that over silence. I think the moment I realized things had truly shifted was at my birthday dinner. I almost didn't go. I don't like attention. And after everything, I didn't want the night to feel fake. But my mom insisted, kept saying, "It'll just be close family. No big speeches." So I went. Logan showed up first, helped set the table. He even brought the same dessert I liked from high school, some lemon tart from a local bakery I used to ride my bike to after class. My parents actually put a framed photo of me in my white coat on the sideboard. That had never happened before. For years, it was always Logan's soccer trophies, Logan's graduation, Logan's business trip in Miami. That night? It was my night. After we ate, Grandpa raised a glass. He's not a speech guy either, but he said this one thing. It's easy to love your children. it's harder to see them. I think we're finally learning how to do both. My mom teared up. My dad nodded. Logan clinked his glass to mine, and I finally exhaled. I didn't share this story for pity, or revenge, or drama. I shared it because I know there are people out there who've grown up feeling like the second string, the understudy, the backup plan. And sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you still feel like the one who gets passed over. I'm here to say, you're not invisible. You're not the side character. Sometimes the only reason they don't see you is because you never needed the spotlight to survive. Logan told me something a few weeks ago that stuck. We were grabbing coffee, just the two of us. Casual. He said, I used to think being the favorite meant I was doing something right, but I was just making things easier for them. You were doing the hard stuff. I didn't respond. But I appreciated that he said it. It meant he saw it now, even if it took 30 years and a stolen Rolex to get there. Samantha, my best friend from med school, met Logan for the first time recently. She'd heard all the stories, so I was nervous. But afterward, she said, he's not what I expected. Better or worse? I joked. Just human, more than the guy you used to describe. She's right. Logan's not the villain in my life anymore. He was a kid who got used to shortcuts. And when shortcuts stopped working, he made a mistake. But he's trying. And I can meet him there. I still wear the watch on weekends. But now it means something a little different. It still reminds me of the work I put in. The years I gave up parties, trips, and sleep to build something from scratch. But now it also reminds me that the truth doesn't stay buried forever. Eventually, it surfaces, even if it takes a quiet grandpa, a stolen item, and a very awkward family dinner to bring it out. This story didn't end in a blow-up. It ended with something quieter, softer, awareness, accountability, maybe even love, the kind that has nothing to do with comparison. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. If you want to share your stories, please comment below. Additionally, what is your opinion on the poster's decision?